It's the FA Cup time, and Liverpool face Brighton up next in this competition. And is it fair to say that this is the only chance we've got of silverware this season realistically? Let's debate. Welcome to Marching Reds. I am Amanchima, and here I am to preview the game which is going to be played between Liverpool and Brighton at Anfield in the FA Cup. So let's start diving into it. Looking at the context of Liverpool's season and what this game's importance is, there can be multiple perspectives on how a Liverpool fan would be approaching this. One would be the fact that, okay, you know what? The league title is gone. In the Champions League, although we are in the round of 16 stage, but maybe we might not have the depth and the quality to beat top teams in that competition. And the only remaining competition left after that would be the FA Cup. So it is imperative that Arne Slot and Liverpool go all guns blazing in this competition, because this is the only chance where we can get a silverware this season. On the other hand, it could be a mix of people either wanting to see a young team which allows all the big players to be rested for this game and make sure that they give a proper push for that top 4 top 5 spots in the Premier League. And for others, they might think that Liverpool should opt for a balanced 11, and what I mean with that is that it should be a lineup made up of a few youngsters, like upcoming youngsters, about whom we will talk about very soon. And with them, it should be those senior leaders, senior players in the group who should take part in this game. What I think about is, the fact that I would still not say that the league is over, although in my mind, I do know that we are not competing at that same level. But till the time we're mathematically in, I would still want my club, my team to reach the highest potential and achieve the highest peak possible. So that is that. But in the Champions League, I do feel the fact that we've been looking a lot more comfortable overall. If you compare it to the performances that we gave in the Premier League, we should have at least a good deep run in, because the draw is still yet to be made. As of now, you still do not know which teams you would end up facing in the Champions League. But I believe in my team to give a proper go even at this. And the FA Cup then would probably slot in right at the top, looking at the difficulty of the other competitions and how easier it would be if you compare it to the Premier League and the Champions League to get your hands on that cup. And how I would approach it, or how I am looking at it, is the fact that it's the third game within the span of 7 days for us. And after beating Sunderland at an away ground, which was a fortress for them till that point, Arne Slot would have to balance it out, because this would be a perfect game in which we could give rest to a few certain players and provide another playing opportunity for players like Ngamoa, Chiesa, Trey Neoni for that matter. That is where you can not only build or reach another level of confidence within the team, but the self-confidence within those players about themselves would also start to grow, which would eventually bode well for the rest of the season to come. So looking at the lineup and the injury status, we knew Wataru Endo, what a warrior. The fact that he threw his body literally on the line for Liverpool the last game came at a cost, and he would be out for a long time. And I would love to see him be back in the mix of things before the season ends, because a long-term injury for a player like Endo, who was like not even directly involved in the big parts of the season, and the manner in which it happened, you just have to feel for that guy. So wish him the speediest of recovery. So he would be out for a long time and definitely won't be available for this game. The fact that Joe Gomez came in to replace him and got a good 30-odd minute cameo should bode well for him and for the team. And Dominik Szoboszlai is now back in contention after serving his one-match suspension. And in the lineup, I would like to see Gogi Mamadashvili start in place of Alisson, because this is the only other competition where we could get to see him play more. And hopefully, if we can make a deep run in this competition as well, you would like to see not a replacement of Alisson, but the succession plan whenever we see Alisson not being a number one keeper. So you like to see, what's in store for us down the line. So Mamadashvili starts for me. In the back line, it would be interesting to see what sort of back four would Arne Slot would go for, because in the left back position, Milos Kerkez comes back for me. The fact that he did not even come onto the pitch and Andy Robertson played the whole 90 minutes just tells me that, okay, yes, there was a plan behind why Arne Slot went for Robertson, because in that kind of a game, you needed that experience, you needed that calm head. And maybe in a game like this against Brighton in the knockout rounds of the FA Cup, you would like the explosivity of a Milos Kerkez type of a player. Which centre back would start for me? I would love to see a Joe Gomez start and maybe a 45-minute shift for Konate and Van Dijk each. And if that's how Arne Slot chooses to go ahead, I would rather start Konate in the first half and then bring Virgil on just to make sure that we get that qualification and that win wrapped up, locked and secured. So hopefully Gomez is fit enough to play the full 90, and maybe we might end up seeing Ahmad Nalo, who's like another centre back for us, come onto the pitch in the dying moments of the game. In the right back position, now Szoboszlai is back. You could play Curtis Jones there. Wataru Endo again is not an option. Frimpong still remains out, and we already know that Connor Bradley has been ruled out of the season. I would like to see a Calvin Ramsey start, because in that particular role, I would like to see the utilization of such players in this competition, because if you do play a Szoboszlai or a Curtis Jones there, I mean, if Curtis Jones starts, nothing like it, because he's that kind of a player who would you like to see get more minutes in his legs and try to contribute more towards the later half of the season. But I mean, you would have to balance everybody's minutes here, because you don't want to find yourself in a situation where everybody is at the risk of getting injured or has fatigue issues come April, come May. So that's why I would like to see a Calvin Ramsey start. In the midfield, Gravenberg has been playing a lot of minutes for us. So has McAllister, so has Wirtz. And here is where I would like to shake a few things up. I would like to see Szoboszlai come back into the 11. Trey Newni would start for me, and Curtis Jones would get a start. So it's a totally reshaped midfield. So maybe Trey Newni and Curtis Jones play that double pivot, and Dominik Szoboszlai plays that number 8 or a number 10 kind of a role. And it could also be where like Trey Newni is the deep lying midfielder with Curtis Jones and Szoboszlai, given that a little more freedom to play and go forward when we do get the ball. In the forward line, we played Salah, Ekitike, and Gakpo. I would like to see Gakpo get a start, because that just would mean the fact that Arne Slot still believes in him. And even though he's been a bit frustrating to see, his numbers haven't been quite up there to what we would have, or like any Liverpool fan would have expected after the departure of Luis Diaz. Maybe this is the kind of game where if he can put in a good performance, and of course get in onto the score sheet and like hopefully get a goal or a match winning goal, it would boost his confidence up as well. So he would start for me in that striker position. Federico Chiesa would start on the right flank, and Rio and Gamoa on the left flank. So quickly summing it up, Mamardashvili in goal. In the back four, it would be Calvin Ramsey, Gomez, Van Dijk, Konate switching up at halftime. Milos Kerkez in the left back position. In the midfield, Trey Newni, Curtis Jones, Dominik Szoboszlai, and then Chiesa, Gakpo, and Gamoa on the left flank. And having said all of this, I do expect all the other big players to be named on the bench, whether it's one of Virgil van Dijk or Konate, Andy Robertson, McAllister, Gravenberg, Salah, Ekitike. These are those big players who would I like to see on the bench, not because they are bench worthy, but the fact that we could give them that little bit of more rest. And although our next game would be after a week's rest or so, but this is where you need to manage minutes. This is where you need to balance the squad out. And just in case if we do need them, we have that explosive firepower to come off from the bench. Right now, the confidence after this Sunderland victory should be high up. And this would hopefully be another game where we can continue our winning momentum. And every game that Arne Slot manages from now on for Liverpool would be looked up with high scrutiny, but you have to put things into context. And as of now, if you ask me, of course, to get a silverware in any season is great, but the priority for me would be to finish in the top 4, top 5 Champions League places in the Premier League and make a deep run in the Champions League knockout stages. The fact that this game is going to be played at home against a tricky opposition against Brighton, who The last time we played was at Anfield, and that was in the Premier League, and that was a 2-0 comfortable victory. But a true Liverpool fan who saw that game knew that there were not many chances for Brighton. So I'm not discounting them at all. The fact that they are one of those teams who could create an upset in this round of the FA Cup games, I would definitely not bank against them. But the fact that they are playing against us, I have to back my team day in, day out. So I hope that Liverpool has enough in them to make sure we go past this round and beat Brighton. And the important factor is the fact that it's going to be played at Anfield. So it's a knockout game, it's under the lights, and you would want to see Anfield turn up. And if it can be on a similar tangent to what we saw at Sunderland, the way the away fans were singing, it would be a definite treat to watch for all the Liverpool fans. So let me know what you think Arne Slot's starting lineup would be, because I think he would go with a mixed, balanced lineup. So this was the preview of this game, and let me know what you thought about this video in the comment section below. Do you think that FA Cup should be given much more priority? Because as I said earlier, it would be the most realistic trophy or a realistic chance of us getting a trophy this season. Or do you think, let's see where the FA Cup takes us, but the priority should be the Champions League football next season? So let me know what you think in that comment section below. I will see you in the review of this game. Till then, take care.